Hello leaders, this is Jason Graziani. Welcome to our channel, Leader for Life. I'm excited to be here with you as we are on part 3 of a 10-part personal financial service segment that we're going to be doing here today. Part 1, we talked about personal goal setting. If you have not watched video 1, go watch that one so that you could put your goals in place so that all the stuff behind me makes sense. Number 2, we talked about offense versus defense. And we took a complicated concept and we really simplified it to show that defense wins championships. And if you need to know what that means, go watch video 2. This is video 3 called the X curve. Obviously, you could see an X over my shoulder here. I'm going to explain what that is. And today we're going to cover a concept. And that concept would be, as you get older throughout your life, what are the changes of priorities and what do you need to focus on today? I'm going to explain that here for you. But before I do that, I want to give you 3 disclosures. Disclosure number 1 is what I call suitability, meaning I am not recommending a product or a service to you. I don't know your personal financial situation. If you ever needed that, you could direct message me, contact our channel, and then we could put that together for you, or you could deal with an agent and have them help you do that. But I'm not making any recommendations to you specifically here today. Number 2 would be compliance. We are in a licensed profession. You could look up my license in the many states that I do business across the country. If you ever work with a financial service professional, make sure you check their license and that we are a compliant industry. And then the third disclosure I want to give you is the overall outcome for why it is that we're even doing this video. We're doing this video to empower you, yes, to empower you to make the right choices for you and your family. You may have a friend that gives you advice, you may have an uncle, a parent, you may have a HR manager, you may have an advisor, you may have an insurance person. Those people are in your life so that they could give you tools and ultimately advice to where you can make your own decision, and this is going to be another one of those. And I hope to provide you a lot of value as we jump into the X curve. So let me first hand off this coffee really fast and let's go ahead and get the party started. So first, what I've done here is I drew out 10 different points, and I'm going to go through them because in red is the answer. So if you want to do this more as a fun color in, you could go ahead and draw these here. You could go back in the video, and as I describe it, I'm giving the answer in red. And so first, number 1 up on top here, you write X curve. That's the title. And the reason it's called X curve is because we're going to describe the negative correlating effect, okay, the negative correlating effect between the amount of insurance you need and the amount of money you need in your life. But let me go to number 2 right here. Number 2 is you put your age. So when I say age right here, depending on how old you are, we'll start on the left side. And then you'll essentially run your life expectancy towards the right. So you might be 20 years old, 40 years old, 60 years old, doesn't really matter. You put that number on the left. And then so as you go through your life expectancy towards 85, 95, 100 years old, you could kind of see that over time, number 3, insurance. This line right here is referencing life insurance, okay? And so earlier in your life, which is today, you're never going to be younger than you are today. I just want you to know that today is it. You are never going to be younger than you are today. On the left side, the amount of insurance that you need is at its highest point the younger you are. Every year you get older, and it moves to the right, your need for life insurance is dropping, okay? But the other is inversely correct as well, which is your need for retirement savings or money. You don't need to have retirement savings when you're at your younger age, but as you get older, every year you're getting older, your need for money is growing. And so really, what do we do as professionals? In my 15 plus years in financial services, I would sum up what I do, the value I provide for people when I sit down with them, is that I take their 2 limited resources, which is number 5, time and money. The limited resources that you have, that I have, that every single person has, is they only have so much time to save money, and they only have so much money they could put away per month. Those are limited, they're not infinite, they're both finite numbers. So if we take the amount of time you have, which is how many years can you save money? How many years do you want to save money to get to a point where you don't really save for money anymore? You want that money to work for you, okay? And then how much money are you able to contribute on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis? Second, this example here, how many years? Let's just say that we put 20 years as the example. You know, Jason, I'm 45 years old and I want to save for another 20 years straight till I'm 65 years old. So this would be 45 all the way to 65 over here, and you want to save for 20 years. Then I would ask you next, how much on a monthly basis, and of course you're the judge of this, but if I put a plan together for you that's good for you, better for you than in every way, shape, or form, and of course you're the judge of that, how much can you save on a monthly basis? I just threw an example right here and I said, let's just say you told me $500 a month. Jason, I could save $500 a month. Great. Then I would take your eyes right back up here to the top left. And the first step, so let's recap. X curve's number 1. Your age is number 2. The amount of life insurance you need for you and your family is number 3. The amount of money you need for retirement is number 4. 5 is time and money. And 6 is filling in that gap. 20 years, $500 a month. Number 7 of our 10 points here is the following. It's something we call DIME. D-I-M-E. DIME. What that stands for is this. The first step to proper planning is, how much insurance do I need if something was to happen to me? But Jason, I want to talk more about the savings and the money and the investments. That sounds so much more interesting. That sounds so much cooler. I know. But if you watched video 2, you would learn that offense in the game, offense and defense, offense is rate of return. And we love dunks and touchdowns and fast breaks. We love that stuff. But if you ask a wealthy investor, what's the secret? If you ask in sports, what's the secret to winning? They'd probably say it's defense. And here you need to make sure that you're positioning your insurance policies correct. And if you don't build your house with a solid foundation on the bottom, then one little thing is just going to knock your financial house over. And we can't have that. We need to make sure that we're properly covered. So, Jason, how much life insurance do I need? Now, our next video, we're going to be talking about the different types of life insurance. And today I don't want to go through that. Today I just want to help analyze how much insurance do I actually need. So we go through what's called the DIME method. D-I-M-E. D stands for debt. I stands for income, meaning the number of years you would need to replace your income should something happen to you. M stands for mortgage. E stands for education. Let's throw a couple real scenario. Let's throw some real numbers in there. Let's say that you were $50,000 in debt. Cumulative debt, you have $50,000 in debt. I'd put $50,000 next to D. On I, income, I may say to you, how old are your children? Maybe you say 10 and 8. And then I would tell you, okay, so the youngest child's 8. Take the youngest child all the way till 18 years old, meaning that they're self-sufficient, or at least they're supposed to be at this point, right? 8 to 18 is 10 years. If you made, say, $50,000 per year, 50,000 times 10 years is 500,000. So on I, you would need $500,000 of life insurance to do what? To replace your income if something happened to you and you want to make sure that your family keeps the same standard of living for the children to go all the way till 18. Let's continue. M, let's just say that you have $350,000 remaining on your mortgage and you want to make sure that if something happened to you, that your family and beneficiaries don't have to lose the house and that your loved ones don't have to lose that, so you have $350,000 for mortgage. And finally, let's say E is education, and that's, we'll throw $100,000. Maybe it's $50,000 per child that you're going to have for college. Now, again, I'm just throwing numbers out there, but what that totals, to keep it a loose, round example, is $1 million of insurance. Remember, $50,000 of debt, $500,000 of your income, $350,000 with your mortgage, and maybe $100,000 for education. So let's just say that you need $1 million of insurance. Now, what policy, what company, how much you pay, and all those different things, you're going to have to decide that sitting down with an agent. But I'll give you a couple more solutions before we wrap up this video here. Let's turn our attention to this side. Number 8. You're going to find that when you speak to people about policies, listen to me real fast. You're going to find that when you speak to people about policies, some agents will say, buy term and invest the difference. Typically, it's because that's what their company sells, and that's the philosophy that they were trained under. I don't judge that agent, but I don't believe that there's one solution for every customer, for every situation all the time. I do not subscribe to that thinking. And I believe that if you're speaking to an agent that subscribes to that level of thinking, that they may be limited at best at for the views that they're giving you. Not criticizing. I know I may get a couple posts or some opinions that are going to be posted on here, and I'm okay with that. But I really believe that you have to look at the situation of the customer and not have a one-size-fits-all policy. I don't believe that. Other agents will tell you, buy permanent and no term. And so there's really term and permanent. Again, we're going to get into that in our next video, but just to make this simple, be very careful on the incentives of the person that's advising you on what they're doing. For example, if they only sell 3 products, they're probably going to tell you that those 3 products are amazing. Another company that sells a lot of products may just tell you, well, we sell a lot of products, that's why we're amazing. But just because a company sells a lot of products doesn't make them amazing. It's, did they pick the right one for you? Or did they pick the right one for themselves? You're going to have to be the judge of that because, again, we're empowering you to make that decision. Number 9, the answer many times is a blend, is a combination between permanent and term insurance. Again, we'll get to that on our next video, but I want to draw your attention to the 3 things that our customers worry about the most. And when us as agents are giving advice, we have to consider the 3 concerns that our customers have the most towards us. And they are these. Number 1, Jason, what happens if I die sooner than expected? 2, Jason, what happens if I'm living, but I can't work? I'm sick, I'm disabled, I had an accident, an illness, something chronic, whatever it is. What if I'm living, but I can't work? And number 3, Jason, what if I live too long? What if I never get sick? What if I never pass away early? What if I'm long and live a long, healthy life and I'm 92 years old and I run out of money? You think it's tough finding a job today? You think the unemployment market's tough today? Try being 92 years old and running out of money. That's a very terrible place to be in. In fact, I will tell you this. The average baby boomer today fears outliving their money far greater than they fear death. And so we have to put plans in place that take care of all 3. We have to make sure that if you die too soon, you have coverage. That if you're living and you cannot work, that you have living benefits. We'll get into that on the next video. And then finally, we have to make sure that if you live too long, you have money. You have retirement in the end. And one of the concepts I'm going to introduce to you in our next video is the Index Universal Life combined with a term policy. And so I'm going to show you the concept here, again, not recommending it for you, but introducing the concept to you so that you can learn more about it, is as this. $500 per month as the example that we put over here, that you have a monthly discretionary amount. Let's say you put $500 a month into this plan. And as you look at this plan, I want you to see 2 circles underneath one half circle. The 2 circles, one is for cash value accumulation, and one is for life insurance coverage and living benefit coverage. For example, you put in $500 a month into your policy, and there's a little valve every single month that pulls out the cost of your insurance. And that cost will be determined by your age and your health history. And so depending on your age and your health history will determine the cost that an insurance company is going to charge you for the policy. And so in this example here, if whether you died too soon, lived and you couldn't work, or you lived too long, this policy takes care of all 3. But I'm not going to explain to you on this video how that works. You're going to have to watch the next one. And I wanted to keep this tight and concise so that you could use this, share this with your friends and family. And I'll tell you this part. You might be an agent that's watching this that's saying, hey, I'm getting better at my skill sets to speak to customers, and I hope you use these tools to help you to do the right thing, the compliant thing, the suitable thing for families, because you heard in my story, if you've watched my videos, my mom was permanently disabled when she was 37 years old, and nobody got my family the right policy. Today, my mom's 63 years old, and she's been permanently disabled for 26 years, and we've never had an insurance payout because we didn't have living benefits on our policy. We listened to an agent tell us, buy term, invest the difference, and most people don't invest the difference, and most people lose their term or become uninsurable, and then they're stuck and they're in a bad situation like in my family. So again, the passion that I have about this business is really because of what I saw it happen to my family, and I don't want the same thing to happen to yours. If you're a consumer that's looking to make this decision, I want you to know this is a big decision in your life. This is not a casual thing. You're making a decision about insurance policies for yourself, and probably you're only going to look at this 1 or 2 times in your entire life. You're not going to look at this 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times. No, you're going to look at this 1, 2, 3 times in your life. And I strongly encourage, especially if all you have is insurance through work, I especially encourage you to go look. Even if it's not through us, go talk to an agent and find something else, because we want to make sure that your financial house is in order. And before we talk about retirement, tax advantages, and all those fun things, we need to make sure that put the insurance platform first, because that's the foundation that we're building our house on. Hey team, if you saw any of this content here today and it provided value to yourself, I'd like you to subscribe to our channel, Leader for Life. Typically we talk about leadership, some political series, and different items that we cover, but on this series, we're talking about financial services and making sure that you, as an aspiring leader for life, has your financial house in order. And I'd love for you to comment. I'd love for you to like and share. If you have somebody that needs to see this material, share it with them. And if you have a question or a comment, please leave it. Whether it's a positive or negative one, we could always learn and we could always improve. And I welcome both. With that being said, you guys, take care, God bless, and I can't wait to see you on the next video in choosing to be a leader for life. Bye-bye.